What's that?
Make sure your microphones are close to you so people
We
can
need
hear.
that map,
You want us to hear it? You have enough?
You're on.
Okay. Good evening.
All right.
Good evening. My name is Jack Dearborn. This is March 5th, 2024, Zoning Board of Adjustment. Tonight's agenda is 7:30. Tonight's meeting is case number 01-2024. It's regards to the Bishop of the Protestant Episcopal Church of New Hampshire, owner Holy Cross Church Community Center, applicant, 118 Center Road, tax map 202, lot 135, residential zone, special exception, Article 19, Section 19.1.8. The applicant is applying for a special exception to permit a daycare center to operate a portion of the Holy Cross Church building. Second case is case number 02-2024. Dustin Cheney, owner applicant, 173 Sugar Hill South Road, tax map 403-1, lot 184, commercial zone, variance, Article 24, Section 2462. Applicant is looking for relaxation of the setback where 30 feet is required for a side and rear line. There's also 2 requests for renewal of special exception and extension of a, I think it's a variance. Thank you. Okay, just so I can go over briefly how the meeting is run. We take each case individually. What I'll first ask is, the first case, I'll take it and I'll request a motion to accept the application. Why do we do this? Because we want to make sure that there's enough information here for us to hear the case. Should we find this okay, we should get hopefully we'll get a second and we'll get a discussion, take a vote. You need at least 3 out of, tonight there's 5. If there was 4, you need 3. You need 3 yeses to continue. Once we get at least 3 yeses, we'll continue to hear the case, which point I will ask the applicant to come forwards and so we can speak to the case. I will then ask the applicant, I will ask the board if they have any questions of the applicant before we start, just if there's any misunderstanding why they're here. Once that's done, I will ask the applicant, in the case of a variance, I will ask them to read for the 5 points of hardship, which is listed 1 through 5, and subparts of number 5. I'd ask them to read the question in bold and their answer. So the reason for that is nobody other than potentially the applicant and the board members have a copy. So it's important that they read the question so people at home, people in the room, know what the question is and then read their answer. Once that's done, if the board has any questions, we'll ask, but if not, we'll move on to the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Once that's done, the board, I'll ask if they have any final questions. If not, then I'll ask the applicant to please be seated. Then I'll ask for the first, they ask for approving abutters that wish to speak to this application. Once I've gone through all the approving abutters, I'll ask for disapproving abutters. Once we're done with that, I'll go to this public at large, other boards. Once that's finished, I'll ask the applicant, should they wish to come up and rebut anything, add anything that they felt they might have missed the first pass. Once that's done, I'll go around the room one more time. Approving abutters, disapproving abutters, public at large, other boards. Once that's done, I'll ask the board if they have any more questions. If they don't, at that point, I will shut down the public meeting, which means at this point, the meeting is done as far as public input. This is the time where the board will deliberate on the case. And what we would do in the case of a variance, I will request a motion always in the positive. Why? Because yes means yes, no means no. So I'll ask for a motion, the positive for prong one. If we get it, hopefully we get it, hopefully get a second. After discussion, I'll ask for a vote. Should we have conditions we wish to place, we typically do it on the first question. It could be done on any one, but it's easy for housekeeping on the first. Then I'll go to second, third, fourth, and fifth question for a variance. You need 3 yeses on each of the 5 questions. If you have less than 3, you fail. It's 1 strike, you're out. You have 6 days, how many days? 30 days to appeal for a rehearing. It can't be because you didn't like the answer. It has to be something of significance. We, the board, will consider the request. We can narrowly pick as much or as little of the case we wish to rehear, or not at all. Once that has been rejected or accepted or expired for the 30 days, if you go over the 30 days for doing it, you're dead. If you do it before 30 days and you fail at the rehearing, you can appeal directly to Superior Court. That's the appeal. Special exceptions are a little different. It's really just a single vote up or down. You need 3 yeses to get it done. So that's the way this works. So with that,
Have to seat us.
let's see the case number here. Okay, which one's first? Holy Cross. This is case 01-2024. Okay. Motion to accept case 01 dash, seat the board, I'm sorry. The members here tonight are the permanent members and the only members we have, so I'm going to seat the members this evening. Mark?
Mark Moretti, member.
Bobby Joe Plamondon, member.
Michael Meyer, member.
Michael, that's your Michael. Malcolm Wright, member.
Thank you, Malcolm. Okay, with that, motion to accept 01-2024.
Move to accept 01-2024.
Okay?
Second that.
Second. Any questions on the application completeness?
I didn't see anything.
No.
Okay, no more discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
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 5-0. Okay, who would like to speak tonight? Marge, step up to the podium, please. And someplace in here, if you would, if you want to give us an overview first, and
Okay.
then we'll get into the 7 points.
Okay. Excuse me. I'm Marge Burke. I'm the junior warden at Holy Cross Church on Center Road here in Ware. And we're asking for a special exception for a toddler daycare center in part of our building. Excuse me, I have sinus infection that's infecting my voice. I think you have most of this information, but I'd just like to give you a little history. Holy Cross Church was originally in East Ware. It was built in 1893, and then it was moved when the flood control was built. And in 1986, we put a small addition on the front of the old church. And then in 2005, we built the new addition, which is called Holy Cross Church and Community Center. And it is used almost every day of the week. Worship on Sunday, we have Boy Scout groups, Girl Scout groups, AA group, visiting nurses, health kid center, and other groups that use the building every night of the week. And so what we're asking for is not out of line with all the other things that happen at the church. We've had inspection by both the acting, or the interim fire chief, Christopher Olson, and the new fire chief, Mark Rorick, and they have approved, and we've passed all fire rules and inspection, and so that's good. But we're located in a residential area, which is why we're asking for this exception, according to all these rules and regulations. To have a daycare center there would be a big boon to this community. There's a huge lack. I think you got some really good reason why it's very much needed. In fact, I had a conversation with a woman this morning who told me her 15-month-old granddaughter is not in daycare because her daughter can't find a place to place the girl, so the mother can't go to work. And that's a family hardship, that they can't find a center. So we'd be just providing another service to the community, along with what we already do with the Scouts and the AA and all the other groups that use our building. So we would really like to have your approval to go forward with this daycare center. And we've answered all the questions that have been asked on the application form. This will not be a hardship to the neighborhood. There'll be a few cars in the morning to drop children off, and they'll come back later in the day to pick children up. They won't be using the parking lot. It'll just be the staff that will use the parking lot during the day. So it won't affect any town services. The initial abutters on either side of the church will not be affected by, well, we won't need to put up any barriers because there are already trees, and they're protected.
Marge, could you take the first question, the bolded question, and read your answers, please?
The specific site is appropriate.
Yes.
I can read you what we've said. The lack of children daycare centers and private schools for children and toddlers is one of the elements adversely affecting employment in New Hampshire. And providing a Montessori school daycare center for toddlers at this location is advantageous in terms of overall community development. Recent studies show a lack of available childcare impacts New Hampshire economy, families, and Rebecca Witkowski, Kids Count Policy Director for the nonprofit New Hampshire Futures, said even if families can afford childcare, they may not be able to find it. Many of our childcare providers are low-wage earners, and there are simply not enough childcare workers to meet the demand in many centers. There are more than 40 daycare centers in New Hampshire have closed in the last few years, according to the growing demand for availability. It was pointed out that parents often are forced to miss work or even quit their jobs, while those who can find childcare are paying too much of their household income to use it. And on the application that we submitted to you, there's a website. You can check all that out. A national report shows that New Hampshire ranks as the best state in the country for child well-being, but the lack of affordable and accessible childcare continues to challenge families and strain the state's economy. The 2023 Kids Count Data Book, a 50-state report of recent household data released this week by Andy E. Casey Foundation, presents national and state data on economic well-being, education, health, and family and community factors, and ranks states according to how their children are faring. The data reports says that in 2020 to 21, 14% of children in New Hampshire, ages birth to 5, lived in families in which someone had to quit, change, or refuse a job because of what happened to the
Problems with childcare.
Problems with childcare is the
Oh,
next
it was just
page.
underneath something else,
It's
sorry.
okay.
And women are 5 to 8 times more likely than men to experience negative employment consequences related to caregiving.
Number two,
The
please.
proposed use will not adversely affect the neighborhood and should produce no significant reduction in real estate values in the neighboring community. The siting of a preschool and daycare center for toddlers at 118 Center Road will not adversely affect the neighborhood. The children will be supervised by the staff of the Covered Bridge Montessori at all times. Any outdoor activities or playtimes for the children will be supervised and restricted to a secure fenced area behind the building. Holy Cross Community Center has hosted nonprofit activities and functions in its building since 2005, and these activities have caused no reduction in retail estate values in the neighboring area. The introduction of a licensed and supervised preschool is consistent with other activities taking place at the church over the past 18 years. Cars and other vehicles will be completely off the road when dropping children off at the site in the morning and when picking them up at night. The driveway and parking lot are located at the subject property will accommodate the number of vehicles anticipated. The proposed use should have no impact on basic town services. The area of the building used by the daycare center will be subject to a real estate tax assessment and will benefit rather than burden the town of Ware. The property has a large off-street parking lot that will accommodate the proposed use. It is anticipated no more than 4 or 5 cars will be using the parking lot during the hours of operation for the daycare center. And in terms of a buffer, all directly abutting properties are screened from the proposed use by naturally occurring shrubs and trees. Proposed use of the upstairs portion of the original 1893 with addition 1986 church will be used by the Covered Bridge Montessori as a preschool and daycare center for 10 toddlers. The Covered Bridge Montessori is in the process of applying for a daycare license from the State of New Hampshire Department of Health and Human Services. A fire inspection was completed by the Ware Interim Fire Chief Christopher Olson and the new Fire Chief Mark Rourke. The subject property is located in the residential zone, Article 19, Section 19.1.8 of the Ware, New Hampshire zoning ordinance, March 2019, and permits private schools and daycare centers in excess of 4 children by special exception in the residential zone. The applicant is asking for a special exception for this proposed use.
Thank you, Marge.
Welcome.
Please have a seat, please.
Okay.
At this time, I'll ask, are there any approving abutters who wish to speak? Disapproving abutters who wish to speak? Public at large or the boards? Please come ahead. Name, please?
Christina Valenti, head of school of Covered Bridge Montessori. So, Mr. Chairman and Planning, zoning, zoning board.
Are you
Excuse me.
aware citizen?
I am not. But I just wanted to just say that my school is a school year only program and it is half day as it stands right now, and that the state of New Hampshire has approved me for 10 children, but I can't get approved for more. I can be approved for more children, but the highest I'll only take is 12 in case the state approves me for more. So just to let you know when Marge was speaking, so I want to just
Thank you.
fill you in with that.
Marge, you wish to make any other comments? You wish to make any other comments? Good. Okay, I'll do this one more time. Disapproving abutters, public at large, other boards? Hearing none? At this point, I'll ask for a motion to accept case 01-2024.
Move to accept case 01-2024.
Second.
Thank you. Any conditions? Any comments, discussion?
No, it doesn't seem like a, no.
Just to clarify, this is a move to grant the exception, correct?
Okay, with that said, motion made, second, close discussion. All those in favor, Mark?
Aye.
Bobby?
Aye.
Jack, aye.
Aye.
And Mark,
Aye.
you already voted. Okay,
Thank you.
early night. We now have case number 2-02-2024. Applicant, please go to the podium. Who wishes to speak?
Accept the application.
Accept the application.
I haven't done that yet.
Thanks for
Okay.
meeting with me, guys.
Right with you. At this point, we're going to accept the application.
Move to accept.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. I asked him if he had a copy of the map, because I didn't see one in here. So he's given me a copy of the site plan. So for that purpose, we'll reference this, and we'll keep this for our records afterwards. So, just
we-
before he gets going, just, this side, proposed, he's not encroaching on the front. He has an encroachment on the side. Existing lot, prior to zoning, all this has been done. So, this is where he would like to do it for expedience. It does encroach on the, to the side here. I guess looking from the road, be on the right-hand side. Okay, Mark?
Yeah.
I just want to make sure you all see this, because you don't have a copy.
Okay, it's this section here.
Yeah.
And he's going 10 feet to the line.
Yeah.
He needs 30.
No closer than that.
I get, that's,
And we need to accept the application. We just,
Yeah, we didn't vote on it.
I just
Just for clarity for the application, yeah.
want to make sure everybody knows what we're voting on.
yeah,
Okay,
we accept the
in favor?
application. Yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
Jack, aye?
Aye.
aye.
Thank you. 5-0. Okay,
I'm already starting off the wrong foot because I had the other paperwork that you guys have, and it's
Oh.
obviously probably in my driveway in the mud at this point. Because I was with that, and I tried to put it under my shirt to hide it from
So
the
do you
rain.
need to read it? Is that?
Yeah.
Here you go.
we'll work off
So I
the
thought I
one.
had it, but I'm sure it's in my driveway.
That's
now.
okay.
Okay, this
I've
is,
read it before.
this is Dustin Cheney. Okay, would you, read the bolded part of the question and your answer, please?
Starting with one, variance will not be,
Right.
yes, variance will not be contrary to the public interest. The proposed must not conflict with any purpose of the ordinance, and that I must not alter the essential character of the neighborhood, threaten public health, safety, or welfare, otherwise injure public rights. My answer pretty will not change anything for the reason that there's already structures in a business there. It's just gonna add to it.
So this would
As
be a
proposed.
compliant use on a commercial,
Correct.
okay?
Yes, sir.
Bolded number 2 question,
Please describe how the spirit of the ordinance is observed.
okay, and your answer?
This new building will not change anything except to store cars, trucks inside instead of them outside. It will also keep a clean look for the lot compared to what I might have now.
Okay. 3, please.
Please describe on how substantial justice is done. The new storage building will not harm or harm anybody or the public, is what I have for an answer. Basically, some of these questions, I tried my best to answer them. I do get them, but at the same time, it's sometimes a little redundant in reference to what they're asking, so I tried my best on that. So what I see from this answer of 3 is like what I wrote, but in no way, shape, or form is it gonna harm the public or alter anybody's well-being in reference to the rest of the neighborhood.
Who does it do substantial justice for?
Substantial justice,
For?
myself, Riley Zotto, my daughter eventually.
Okay,
Riley?
that's cool. 4, please.
Please describe how the values of the surrounding properties are not diminished. there's already a legal establishment on 173 South Sugar Hill Road, Riley's Auto. So basically, there's not gonna have anything to alter it, just like it says, the surrounding properties aren't gonna diminish in value any. It's not gonna be a public nuisance, so forth.
Okay. Number 5,
This I need to
to the bolded.
yes, literal enforcement of the previous of the ordinance would result in the unnecessary hardship. Please describe the special conditions. Special conditions, I don't have the room to put it anywhere else on the property, so this is basically the only place I can put it. I started the process 3+ years ago and logged for the upcoming, hopefully in the future, it went to this route and now we're here. So if I could put it somewhere else, I would listen to other, avenues, but unfortunately, that's the only place that I have to put it.
What's the challenge with the rest of the lot? Just looking at the.
Well,
site
wetlands, so basically right after the proposed building that's on there, it's probably another, I'm just guessing, 75 feet drop off. So there's a little bit, you know what I mean, yeah, it's not much of anything except a riding trail now for my daughter. Besides that, there's nothing. I wish it was more even, but it would probably take, it'd take quite a bit of dirt to do that, and I don't know if we'd even get away with that, so.
Okay, let's go to I. And read the question, please.
Owning the special conditions identified above, please indicate how no fair and substantial relationship exists between the general public purpose of the ordinance and the specific application of the provision to the property. Business already exists on the property, so we're not asking to actually put up another business, start another business. It's literally just a toy box, I guess, for say, to clean up the yard, if anybody ever had a problem with it, but I doubt it.
So your existing spot where you're gonna put this is where you currently have your cars, pretty much?
I do put cars over there on occasion, but most of the time they're in the main front of the building.
Okay. And, I, if you could.
Owning to the special conditions identified above, please indicate how the proposed use is a reasonable one. So again, I probably could have elaborated slightly more, so I apologize. Any special conditions of the property and the zoning restrictions interferes with reasonable use of the property. Again, it doesn't, in my eyes, it doesn't alter anything. It's just a positive, especially for anybody around the neighborhood, to have stuff stored inside versus possibly overflowing outside. I don't have a lot of vehicles anyways, but at that point, I like to keep them nice, dry, tight. Stuff that I sell and stuff is $50,000 to $100,000 vehicles. And my current garage, the old Sassy Massey, is full, about 5 or 6 vehicles, and that's about all I can fit in there. And they're actually my stuff, so I need some more room for the actual business.
Okay. Very good.
Question.
Please have a seat.
Question for you. I'm just a little bit fuzzy on
Yes, sir.
your abutter and the grade here. You said, I think I caught you saying that drops off?
Behind it, if I can elaborate.
On his land.
So basically, from, I would say, right about here, the chicken coop,
Yeah,
on is
Okay.
marshes, I mean, not always, but in spring.
right. So who's your neighbor here? Who?
Fine gentleman.
Oh, okay, okay, I guess,
It's the racetrack.
when we deal with the setback,
Yes,
it's
sir.
all a matter of encroachment. Everything you said about the need for the building, those makes perfect sense. But the crowding issue, you say there's no other place to put it, and I get it, but I'm just curious to know what kind of impact you're gonna have on the abutting property there.
I don't feel there's gonna be any impact. If anything, I think it's gonna actually be a positive for the reason.
Oh, okay.
For a few different reasons. Today, he was nice enough to be an awesome neighbor, and he actually had Towns Excavating and remove about 15 pine trees.
Oh,
They were
cool.
barely on his property, but just in case,
Yeah.
something might have happened. So we've been working together. But it's actually not a wetland, but because of the trees that were there, there is a little bit of area when it does rain, that might get a little mushy, not
I
like
got it,
bad.
yeah, yeah.
But with the trees gone and stuff like that, I actually think it's gonna improve it.
Right, okay, cool, thanks.
You're welcome.
Have a seat, please. Approving of butters wish to speak,
You say approving?
that will be you.
Alex Seafield. I'm the next door neighbor, the racetrack one. And yeah, I really have no issues with it. As long as he can build his building on his land and construct it, the water naturally drains out back. So as long as that works for grade wise and whatever works, then we've, neighbors, you help each other out, so. It's your land, you do what you want, but, so, yeah,
Thank you.
I guess that's about it.
Any other approving of butters wish to speak? Disapproving of butters wish to speak? Public at large or the boards? At this point, if you wish to speak again,
Yeah, just because I like to be part of the town and just part of, not that it's gonna do anything, but I like to talk at any rate. I came into this town 18 years ago, probably 16 now, over on Bernard Hill Road. And I've never been in one place this long. I've always traveled, been 47 states, lived in campers and tents. My parents are hippies. That's what it was. So it was kind of neat to have my daughter in the school, especially from the very beginning to now a sophomore in high school. Me, it was 13 plus schools. Didn't work, so I gave up a long time ago. But it's a privilege to be in the town, and I like the town. So I just want to improve on it, and I don't have any ill ideas or anything like that to harm the town. I believe I'm pretty respected from a lot of people. John Knox wanted to come because we're good friends, but I told him there's really nothing he could do, so he might show up on another note on a building permit portion. But what I do is in a dealership, and I've said this before when you guys give me approval for the actual lot, it's all internet-based. So very, very seldom do I have anybody just drop by unless they're neighbors that just want to talk about whatever antique car might just be in the driveway. So this building is literally just going to be basically a storage place for them to keep them dry and maybe take pictures, in a nice, facility and whatnot. But I sell cars throughout the United States. So 90% of the stuff that I go down south to get, because we don't have very clean cars here. So the stuff I get, nice Chevy trucks, some classics, I travel. We're actually leaving to Myrtle Beach Monday for a week to go down to a car show down in Myrtle Beach. It's really big, to bring a couple and hopefully bring a couple back. So it's a big part of what I do, and I love it. I wouldn't do anything different. If I was a millionaire, I'd do the same thing. Maybe I'd just buy more expensive vehicles.
buy a bigger building.
Not where we're at. So, in the future, I think maybe I'll end up getting a place down south at some point and keep what I have, but just because of the uphill battle it consists of to trailer these things and go get them and find them. Very seldom do I find anything around my area, Maine, Vermont, unless somebody already brought it up. I only sell 2-3 vehicles a month. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
So I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Approving of butters, disapproving of butters, public at large or the boards again, being none. Shut down, unless the board's got any questions, I'll shut the meeting down. It's at 8:04. And this being a variance, we need a motion on prong one, please.
Move to accept prong one.
Second?
Condition, I should say, discussion, condition, by his own site plan, it's no closer than 10 feet to the abutter. That's what it says? Yes. And by the way, just so we know what we're referencing, the plan that I referenced with 10 feet is, this is proposed variance, tax map 403, lot 184, Sugar Hill South Road, Ware, New Hampshire. Owner record Dustin Cheney, 173 Sugar Hill South Road, Sugar Hill Road, sorry. Ware, New Hampshire 03221, J.E. Belanger Land Surveyors. And the date on this is January 19th, 2024. So, make sure Naomi gets that. Okay, we get the condition. Any other discussion? I just want to say, it's not encroaching on the front. He's trying to make the best use of the property, what's left to build on, and unfortunately, it encroaches into the sideline. And I think his neighbors seems to be okay with it, so
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think it's gonna hurt the town at all. Anything, we don't have enough business in town, so this allows for him to reasonably expand without encroaching on anybody's rights other than the setback.
Looking at a satellite view of the lot, the neighbor doesn't have any structures very close to that line, so it's not like creating a hazard in terms of being able to get a vehicle by or anything like that.
Yeah, I'm aware of the area. I don't think it'll be a problem.
Anything else? All in favor?
Aye.
Bobby?
Aye.
Jack, aye?
Aye.
Art?
Aye.
Malcolm? Number 2, please.
Move to accept prong 2.
Second.
Thank you. Get in here, see what I'm looking at. Spirit of the ordinance is orderly growth. This is commercial, he's not asking for a use change, he's just basically requesting that his property can be better used and probably enhance the area by putting the vehicles into a garage as opposed to having them parked out in front. So,
Yeah.
Agreed.
okay,
Aye.
Aye.
aye?
Aye.
5-0.
Move to accept prong 3.
Second that.
This is, substantial justice will be done, to the individual requesting. I don't think there's any injustice done to the town of Ware or the neighbors.
Yeah.
So if anything, it improves the property because the vehicles aren't sitting outside on front of his property, which probably in the parking area could be in the setback, I don't know. So it's pretty wide there, so,
Yep, it's his property and he can better use it.
okay?
Aye.
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 5-0. 4,
Move to accept prong 4.
Second.
again, I don't think this is gonna be a diminution of anybody's properties.
No, not with a cleanup.
Okay? All in favor?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Bobby? Jack, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Bobby? And 5 is entirety?
Move to accept 5 in its entirety.
Second.
Again, I think to be an unnecessary hardship, given the fact that, this will improve his business with little to no detriment to anybody. And it actually improves the property, as far as I can see. And owing to the special conditions, although it may be a rather large lot, the actual site for buildable property is limited. And so, I think he's making the best use of his property.
Yep.
Agreed.
Aye.
And it's a reasonable use.
And the neighbor doesn't mind. Aye.
Aye.
Aye, aye, aye.
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 5-0.
Congratulations.
Very good.
Thank you.
You too now.
Good luck with that.
Okay, we now have 2. I do. I was getting there. I'm gonna ask, Mike to take over as chair for the next one.
Thank you. So, Mr. Dearborn is requesting Town and Zoning Board of Adjustment to consider granting an extension of ZBA case 12-2020, special exception for tax map 411, lot 98, located at 162 Gold Road in Ware, New Hampshire. This was received December 15th, 2023, and I believe it is expired, but the applicant, or the request was put in before it had expired, so it's a legitimate request for extension. Any discussion?
No.
Since it was time finally, I would move that we grant the extension.
I'll second it.
Filed timely.
Aye.
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 4-0. Okay. And second one is another extension request. Just looking for the case number and everything on it here. Case number 10-2021-185 Bart Clough Road, map 409, lot 20, for Jordan Estrada. It was received in May of 2021, requesting extension renewal for another 2 years.
Are these generally 2 years, or are they one? How are we gonna grant a 2-year extension
No,
then?
no, the first time was 2 years.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
first is
okay,
two.
I
And
see.
then after that, if nothing substantially, it's a year time. And it's up to them to file, not us.
Correct.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
did,
the first part of it says it's been 2 years, but that was the original, it's good for 2 years. And he did
Right.
Got it.
yep. Oh, that's all.
And, I'm just looking, expires on April 6th,
23rd,
April 23rd.
23rd or 24th.
It's on, it's on here.
Yeah. It'd probably be easier if I just used that. And the letter was dated the 20th of February, so it was once again in a timely manner. I guess move to accept it.
Move to grant the extension.
Second.
Second, yeah, I agree on all of them.
Aye.
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 All right,
5-0.
do the minutes.
Minutes. Oh my goodness. All right, we have minutes for the December 5th, 2023 meeting. Take a moment and just read through them.
Boy, that was a long time ago.
I'm good.
I'm good too. Yep.
Any comments?
Nope.
No.
And I get a motion to accept the meeting minutes.
Move to accept.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 5-0.
Motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Wait,
We can't take any
can't sign
discussion.
my form? The state of New Hampshire says you have to sign my form.
No, we're all done with that.
Yeah, I think
We have to be.
But I'd have to do it.
I don't
tomorrow.
sign
Tony
it.
has to do it.
I don't sign it, we don't sign
Oh,
it.
you don't sign it?
No.
Oh, okay, because it says.
We're done.
Okay, then you're done. Okay, because it says here that the zoning board has to sign it with the state of New Hampshire, with the zoning verification.
Give us a minute.
Okay, you got it, sir. Chairman.
Move to adjourn.
Move to adjourn, I'll second that.
I think we,
Aye.
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 Aye.